Mr. Schreuder, I'd love to invite you, because you've been in the room, to come to the front and, as part of concluding the evening, to just respond very briefly to what you have heard today. And then I want to say, Selwyn, may I then ask you to come straight up after that to close the evening for us. Brian, welcome.
Thank you.
So now we have to demonstrate.
But I remember something else. Jy sien ek leer vinnig. So after the highlight event this evening, I'm clearly the anticlimax. So after the highlight.
What do you want?
So after the highlight this evening, I'm clearly the anticlimax. But am I? Very kind of you. But I want to say to you that whenever I come to these events, I'm always inspired when I leave. When I came in, and I apologize for being late, it's not because of disrespectfulness, but I was later than I thought I would be. One of the first things when Vuyo spoke was Louise tweeting, as she does, I love that the principal feels able to be so honest, even though at WCDHOD, which is my Twitter handle, is in the room. And I thought, what on earth are you talking about? Why would a principal not be comfortable to be open and fair and honest just because I'm in the room? So I'm not saying don't tweet that, but the fact of the matter is that if we have an organization where a principal is scared to have an opinion and to say something and to be honest, then there's a challenge in our organization, and there's a challenge in the leadership in this organization. And then by extrapolation, there's a challenge in any of our institutions and schools. And so I was very, very inspired by the partnership that I heard both Vuyo and Murray, and I heard, Murray, also the issues that you raised about the tablets that the department gave without connectivity. We'll chat afterwards because it's not quite accurate, and I'd gladly share that with you. But of course, we must note the challenges that we face and the things we need to do. In Chinga, I'm pleased to say, is an enhanced school, which means in our e-learning strategy, it has a Wi-Fi LAN, it has 8 of 20 digitized classrooms, it is therefore broadband connectivity school, and has opportunities for technology enhanced learning and digital learning in our schools. And we're very pleased that the leadership of the school is inspired to take that forward. And all the partnerships that we have with our schools, we would greatly say, please support and help develop the value of transforming education through the use of technology and digital resources. And one of the examples is that which is becoming more and more available and possible in our schools. And then when Faik was speaking, it reminded me of something that needs to be said about Wynberg High School. Faik in his school is a school that is a showcased enhanced school that was handpicked to trial a mindset change program with all their staff. It was one of the first 2 schools that we trialed it. We since and subsequently trialed it in 4 more schools in Eden Central Karoo. And the outcome of Faik's school has been the noting how the entire staff had embraced the challenge of changing a mindset to embrace change in a school. The leadership that I've noticed there is significant. And one of the things that Wada Conrad, our Director of Business Strategy and Stakeholder Management, said to me, having evaluated the staff's reaction shortly after the engagement and also again 3 months later, is that the beauty has been that in your staff, Haik, there's been sustained change and positive attitude and approach. Exactly what we need to see in every one of our schools going forward. And so, again, the examples you've chosen this evening has been great in both the 2 schools that we saw. And I think it's important, in fact, maybe I must just say another thing that Wada said to me as we were sitting and listening, Faik, to your school and also to Vuyo, was the importance that the partnership is bringing in creating confidence in developing the leaders in our schools. It's one of the strong points in education in the Western Cape, in our leadership development of our principals. And I'll say a little bit more about that in a second. But the importance of that, she said to me, do you know what we should be doing? Alan, she said, we should be ensuring that our circuit managers, who are our links with our schools and the links with our leadership and principals, ought also to be trained and upskilled with coaching skills as well. That which the partnership is bringing into our schools, that which business is bringing in to enhance and give confidence to our leaders, are the kinds of skills which the organization, which the department, which the education sector as a whole ought to be emulating. And if we take a look at the examples that we've seen tonight, plus many, many other examples of schools that had grown and developed through this partnership, of leadership that had developed, it's clearly a recipe that we ought to expand greatly. Certainly in this province, and maybe you can also try it a little bit in other provinces if you needed to, Louise, but in this province first, there's a huge need for the kinds of support that we want. So,
there are some funders in the room. I think you should just immediately...
Well, if they've got a bit of money, that's fine. But they might think that you asked me to say that, and I'm not going to say that. The point of the matter is I want to share with you where the Western Cape Education Department is going. And I loved it, Benang, when you spoke about the importance of conflict in our organizations and in our schools, because the WCD is actually wanting to be quite disruptive of education in our province. Because we need to change. We need to grow, and we do not grow by doing the same thing over and over. So we're quite happy to be disruptive in the sense of driving positivity and change in our education system. And perhaps I must say to you that, and many of you have heard this and know this, our very simple reinforced vision for the Western Cape Education Department is ensuring quality education for every child, in every classroom, in every school in our province. 23 years into democracy, it is not there. So the honest realism is that we have to work hard at ensuring that quality for every child. And in fact, we are saying that we want to deliver quality education in a values-driven organization. And so you will have heard us speak about living the values, caring, for example, integrity, accountability, because we believe that an organization as a whole in this province can grow and help to deliver quality education through that space. And perhaps I can just add that one of the subtexts of what we are doing and driving strongly is the development of leadership at all levels in the organization. And that leadership includes, of course, the executive leadership. It includes middle management, which has been a neglected part of this large organization's leadership development. It includes district leadership. But the largest sector of leadership that leads education in this province are in our schools. It's a principal and SMT and governing body. And it's a neglected part of leadership. And so the development of that leadership over the next number of years as part of stratified leadership development is absolutely critical if we want to drive education to the heights that we wish to see it, so that we can attain our vision of quality education for every child in every classroom and every school. And until that happens, we shouldn't rest. And when I then see, and here comes the little spiel that funders can listen to, Louise, when I see the partnership interaction, many of you have heard me say that there is no way that the state can do this alone. There's no way that the state can do everything. There's no way that the state can, with a paucity and an economic downturn, in the context of, in our province, growing numbers, consequently larger class sizes with not enough funding to keep up with the teacher needs and classroom needs and resource needs. With that scenario, there's no way that the state can do it alone. And so the partnerships that are essential to help drive education quality, we support strongly as the Western Cape Education Department. And so we have a number of partnerships. Collaboration Schools is one, for example, where private donors and funding support a piloted model to see if we can enhance quality particularly in communities where those resources are not normally in place. And so that is one of many. This particular partnership is one which we cherish. It's a partnership where we are seeing more and more everywhere where business leaders goes in with the attitude and approach that they are currently doing to support and enhance and bring in a bit of money into the school, please, and resources into the school. But with the kinds of partnership that we have heard attested to this evening between an outside person that becomes a friend, or be him a lanky Scotsman for Pete's sake for you, the kinds of partnership where friendships develop because of the professional interaction and gain, it can only be positive. We cherish it. We say thank you to all of you that are prepared to give of your time. Finally, one of the things and many of the things that Madiba had raised, I have not seen come to fruition in this country. And one of those was his drive for volunteerism. Unfortunately, in the poverty context in which we live, we often hear people that want to help, want to be paid for it. Here I don't see that. Here I see volunteers from business giving their time and their energy and bringing a bit of money as well to in fact help build an education system so that the leaders in our schools are not only great leaders, but become the extraordinary leaders that we need to drive education in this province and in this country. Thank you for your contribution, inspiring, everything of the best.